Tonight's weather is sponsored by Ashbrook Audiology, proudly serving Southside for 20 years.
Relationships, they are the most precious and important thing we have in life. An uncorrected or improperly corrected hearing loss negatively affects each and every one of those relationships. Did you know that you have hearing insurance benefits available to you? At Ashbrook Audiology, we are the region's go-to providers for benefits from affordable hearing care, true hearing, and many more. Ashbrook Audiology, where relationships matter, Martinsville and Danville.
All right, folks, welcome back here. And of course, let's take a break from the news and get right to the weather. Of course, it was another busy holiday weekend again. We had Christmas last weekend, and now we're saying farewell to 2022. Personally, I've had a pretty good year, and I hope you've had as well, and things of that nature. But it's going to feel more like winter finally, as our temperatures are going to dip below the freezing marker right around tonight, as our lows are going to be dipping in the mid-30s everywhere you go, from Rocky Mount down towards Franklin County, out towards Oak Level there. We have a low right on coming in at 34 degrees there. We have 39 there in Ararat, so a little warmer towards our friends out towards the west, towards Patrick County this evening. Again, we'll see those clear skies develop for us once tonight. No wind, majorly wind is expected, so if you have anything out and about this evening, just do know you're going to definitely need the ice scraper first thing tomorrow morning. So as you're doing any traveling, whether it's New Year's travel, whether you're heading to do some maybe exchanging Christmas gifts or doing any shopping returns, just do know that you are going to want to have a lighter jacket with you, because our overnight lows are not going to be as drastically warm and just drastically cold as they had been earlier in the weeks to come. So let's take a look as you make your way towards the next several days, or not several days, but tomorrow's forecast is a nice, plentiful sunny day, more like April than it is December right now. A high of 62 degrees, a mix of sun and clouds coming into play with you. We'll give tomorrow about an 8 out of 10 as my ranking for you on that. So a very nice last final Friday of this year. As you do anything tomorrow, go out there, take advantage of it, go take a hike, go buy your, if you got motorcycle, or not motorcycles, but if you got those little four-wheelers and bikes and scooters is what I'm trying to say for you. You want to go down and take advantage of that. Remember to have some shades with you. Get the hat and sunglasses there alongside with a light jacket. Again, there's going to be a bit of a southwest breeze, and this time the wind is in our favor because we're going to most likely see some nice summer, or not, it's going to feel like summer definitely, but more like spring-like weather than it is December. The average high for the month of December is actually 47 degrees. As you see, we're not even near that for this time of the year. So if you're doing anything tomorrow, you're going to say, what the heck, Dustin, what is this all about? Well, it's all part of a high-pressure ridge that's building in for us, as our temperatures are going to feel very more like spring than they are December. Moving on now to some of your other area highs for our friends towards Patrick County, a lot warmer for you too. Ararat coming in at 59 degrees. Will come in at 60 in Stewart. Same story as you make your up towards the Patrick Springs community there. We got 60 as well as Oak Level. As you make your way up towards Rocky Mount, Boone's Mill, up towards 220, along parts of the Blue Ridge Park that runs through there. You're going to run a pretty nice drive, to say the least. You know, if you want to feel fancy, roll the windows down, or if you got a convertible even, let the roof itself lean back. Again, a nice afternoon to the making. Now, we will see we'll have increasing clouds later in the day, just because we have a storm system that's going to provide you some rain showers on us for our New Year's Eve, but I'm pretty optimistic we're going to have a very nice New Year's Day, because we're going to see a lot of that sunshine coming into play. So just tomorrow, do note that we're going to see those temperatures feel more like early March and April than we are late December. Again, our average highs are in the 40s with that rain moving in late overnight. So let's kind of take some digging back to the beginning of the year. This is going to kind of jog your memory for some of these memories too. We are going to see the, remember those folks? We're going to go back to the beginning of the year. January 3rd, first of all, we began the year oppressively hot. It was like 74 degrees for the first of the year. And then 2 days later, we saw snow showers that filtered in, brought about 2.5 inches of snow for us on the 3rd of January. And then 2 weeks later, I was very optimistic that we were going to see snow again, and here we did. That was our big snow of the year. We saw about 5 to 7 inches for some of our hometowns. So if you did have any plans, or if you remember that very well, remember school had just began for everybody, and then we got snow within the first week of that as well. Something I want to move on ahead about was the March bitter cold. As most of you remember, of course, I was out of town on a missions trip. Of course, when the weatherman goes out of town, the weather wants to misbehave, as I like to say it as. It was cold, and then we had a surprise snow. Again, I did mention that it was going to snow, so I hope you really paid attention right on the March 11th to the 13th time frame. We did see a little bit of an Arctic chill that moved on in for us as well, and temperatures were very below average, and we saw a little snowfall for us too. And now moving on ahead to the summer months, we had several heat waves, 2 heat waves to be specifically, one that lasted for about 4 days from June the 12th to the 17th. We had high temperatures reading well over 100 for at least one day, and then the feels like air temperatures were well over 100 degrees for a majority of us too. So that was the first heat wave, and then again the end of July. As you also remembered, it was pretty warm that time frame too. We had the couple of days in the mid to upper 90s heat index values. We had heat advisories that were issued for the entire coverage area for several days, and thankfully we did not get to oppressively hot where there was heat warnings issued. But again, it's kind of hard to remember what the heck happened this entire year to keep in mind. Moving on down the list, we switched from summer. Remember, we had a very quiet hurricane season, and then things got really active towards the latter half of the month. The first time in ever history that there was no hurricane or tropical storm in the month of August. It was September, October, and then November. We had September going into October was Hurricane Ian. Of course, that brought several inches of rainfall for us and left thousands in the dark. I was looking back and doing some research. It estimated we probably had about roughly 4,000 people without power during Hurricane Ian. And then we had the remnants of Nicole that moved in right around mid-November, which is not unusual for hurricanes. But again, we did see some rainfall activity in the midst of November right there, resulting in about 2 to 3 inches of rain. We had some flooding concerns to think about. And who could not forget the Arctic blast that we just had for a majority of us, as well as are the temperatures were well below freezing. As you saw there, our temperatures were below freezing 45 hours roughly at or about as well. So a very frigid night and days were in the making as we've moved on ahead. As you continue to see here on our 5-day forecast, a lot of our sunshine will continue to filter in for Friday. Keep that in mind. New Year's Eve, we'll have rain showers moving in, temperatures in the 50s. We're going to see a lot of that rain. I'm very optimistic about this. We'll see wrapping up on parts of New Year's Eve night. So if you have plans to travel anywhere on Saturday, just do know you're going to be running into a lot of rain, possibly up to a ½ inch. Near an inch of rainfall is expected for us, but our overnight lows are staying in the 40s. Happy New Year to you on 2023. On Sunday, will feature mild weather. A mix of sun and clouds will be the filtration with that. It'll also be breezy at times, coming in a high of 64. Overnight lows are going to be staying in the mid-30s for us, so we'll have a very nice dry stretch to begin the month of January. I'm trying to get that right because this whole week I've stuttered and stuttered with words. And do forgive me, because next year I'll be hopefully a whole lot fresher with my words and not being twist-tied as that. Will clear out again on Monday, so a nice afternoon for anybody off. So if you're doing anything, just keep that in mind. And then another round of rain moves in for Tuesday. We have a lot more to come right after this.
Your BTW21 weather forecast is sponsored by Zentmeyer Chiropractic.
Hey, my name is Joyce Renee Watkins, and the reason why I chose chiropractic was because I was having some issues with myself, and chiropractic really works. New clients to come in, we are running a special right now where you can actually come into the office and have an exam and 7 different types of x-rays for $49. And then we will get you back in the next day and we will actually treat you, and we can let you in what your insurance covers. Now you're getting 7 x-rays and an exam. And the x-ray machine here is top of the line, and Dr. Zentmeyer is really good. He can really read some x-rays. So I encourage everyone to come. We're located in Collinsville. Our address is 3652 Virginia Avenue, Collinsville, Virginia. We're across from Fenders and beside Walgreens.